Welcome. Another day of Bhagavad Gita Sadhana. It is so good to have you, especially on a day like today. So I try to be pretty regular with this program and come to you to, consistent time every day, a consistent place, consistently dressed. And that's part of sadhana. The guidelines of sadhana is to become consistent and to really do something, to commit to doing something and to do it. And if it's something that's easily repeatable, so much the better, because you fall into that routine. And this can happen in life. We commit to a job, we figure out the best way to go there, figure out, what we need to nourish ourselves beforehand, how we want to dress. But life throws curveballs. Have you ever noticed? So today I'm dedicating this practice to Zan and her mother, and also to Christy for her mother's departed soul, and for Christy's family. I've known Christy for decades. So here I am with my lovely week plotted out, and this class plotted out. And then it's like there's a death. And what do we do with that sometimes? I mean, of course, we're like, oh, the death. But there's often all these shoulds that come to mind. It could be as simple as, should I call? Should I not call? Should I send a card? Should I wait and see them at the visitation? What should I get for the visitation? But also, I have these other commitments sometimes. And what takes precedence? What's the right thing to do? This is something that we try to impart to our children, if we have any, to our nieces, nephews, to others who may be younger than us and looking to us for guidance. And it's the job of growing up and becoming an adult to figure out what we should and shouldn't do. And it's not judgmental, and it's not meant to be viewed in a societally restrictive way, like you should play this role in life. Like if you're embodied as a man, then you should follow this path. And if as a woman, you should follow this path. And if you're intersex, if you don't identify with either, then you should or you should not, right? It's different than that. It's in each moment, what is the most important thing? What takes precedence? And we can look back a little bit at yesterday, the idea of a shortcut to spiritual growth. Well, if spiritual growth is your priority, then every moment, that's your priority, every moment. Your commitment to truth or justice or God or your true self, that's your priority every moment. And then life comes up and you think, what happens now? So I'll read to you from the conclusion of chapter 16 of the Bhagavad Gita, because this is the big thing for Arjuna in the Gita. What should I do? Should I fight in a civil war and kill members of my own family? Should I let a usurper continue on the throne? What do I do? And hopefully our decisions today are a little less drastic than that, right? It's so easy to sometimes let one's own decisions and travails get blown out of proportion to what others may be facing. Like simply, what am I going to eat today? Right? All right. Verse 24, chapter 16. Krishna says to Arjuna, "Thus let sacred law be your guide to what should and should not be done. Knowing guidelines of sacred law, you should do actions in this world." The neighbors are out next door. Should I not be singing? So the word in Sanskrit that I translated as sacred law to try to make it more accessible to people who don't know what a shastra is in fact shastra. And it's fascinating when you look up all the different nuances for the Sanskrit terms. Shastra One translation was something that tells you what you should and should not do. Another translation was a sacred book that goes on and on in great detail, sometimes interminably. Look, but another translation I found, same spelling, same pronunciation, is weapon, because we all know that shoulds and should nots can be used as a weapon, correct? But this is, if we look at the title of the chapter, the divine versus the demonic, it's what makes us more divine in each moment. If that's what we want in our life, then we let this sacred law, we can hear it from outside, especially if we feel we've lost our path, but ultimately we receive it from inside. The more we know ourselves, the more we understand the world. But the priorities we set can help us a lot. So, do I want to be free, divine? Do I want to shine that light to others? Then, what do you do in each moment? It becomes less of a should and more of a, if this is my endpoint, this is what I have to take in each step to get there. Or if you prefer bondage, which if you do, that's your thing. If you prefer to be bound, and some people do, why? You might say, why? Because it can numb us emotionally. It can free us from the burden of responsibility for making our own choices if we tie our choice to something else. Okay. So I'm encouraging you today to consider this, maybe from any sacred law, and I truly mean sacred law, like the law of the divine. And if you look at enough spiritual traditions, you'll find your cat pounding on the window at you. No, if you look at enough sacred traditions, you will find that there are certain guidelines in common, no matter what the tradition. A big one is, treating others as you treat yourself, for example. So, what is that universal sacred law? And how do you apply it in each moment to reach your goals in life, with this life, this embodiment? So, I'm going to do a balance pose, and I'm not going to say a word to you about how you should or should not do it. You can watch me and try to imitate, or you can figure out for yourself what is the best way to feel divine in your balance pose. I'm switching sides. You're welcome to. 5 minutes of contemplation. I invite you to consider in your day today what should and should not be done, truly. Welcome back. Welcome back. I was contemplating a little bit how should or should not can be really used in daily life. Okay, Clevelanders, fellow Clevelanders, for the love of whatever, if you're coming on a red light and it's been red for a couple seconds and you think, should I gun it and go through anyway or should I not? Maybe check in with yourself based on this principle. Highly practical. Also, you can ask yourself, should I or should I not join the celebration of sadhana to commemorate the end of this year-long practice? There are details below. You are most welcome. And you're most welcome to be part of this tomorrow. Until I see you again. If I should be here tomorrow, I will be here tomorrow. I trust in that. Later. Later, Tater.